Okay, today's power notes are called Using Intercepts. It's from Chapter 5, Section 2. We see our essential question. What are the intercepts? How can I find them and use them? Well, let's talk about what an intercept is. I like to use football as my way of talking about intercepts. Those of you who know football know what I'm talking about. Those of you who don't, try and follow along. The quarterback gets the ball and he throws the ball. When he throws the ball in a line. He doesn't throw it sideways and it zigzags back and forth, right? So when he throws the ball and he's trying to throw it to someone else will jump in the middle and grab it. Okay, that's called an interception. Same thing's true for a line. Okay, when that line crosses the x-axis is intercepting the line. The same thing is true for the y-axis. When it's crossing the y-axis, that becomes the y-intercept. So you have some definitions on your paper there. So let's kind of go over them. All right. So you have the x-intercept, which is where the line crosses the x-axis. And you'll notice I left a little something out, so add that, where y equals 0. Now, why would y equal 0 at the x-intercept? Well, let's think about that for a second. Okay, this is where y equals 0, right here. Y equals 0. It doesn't go up or down, right? So if it doesn't go up or down, that's where the x-axis is. It's going to be right there. Same thing's true for the y-intercept then. It's where the line will cross the y-axis, and that's where x is going to equal 0. Well, the reason we want x to equal 0 is because we don't want to go left or right. We want to stay on that y-axis. So that's why it's important about these zeros. Now let's kind of take a look. You have a graph there, so let's kind of take a look at your graph. And on your graph, you have a line. And we can find the x-intercept and the y-intercept. So let's start with the x-intercept. The x-intercept's off the x-axis. So we have this point right here. Now we can see it, we can identify it, and the way we identify points is by ordered pairs. So this point here is for 0. Remember up here at the x-intercept, we said where y equals 0, we see in the y spot there's a 0. That's what we're talking about. Same thing's true for the y-intercept. Okay, we can see where the y-axis is, right? Right here. This is the y-axis. And it intercepts the line right there at 3. And so we're going to label this point. This point, the location is 0, 3, isn't it? 0 and then up 3. So this is the y-intercept. And again, where x equals 0, we see that there's a 0 in the x spot. So all we have left to do is write our answers from what we see. We say, hey, the x-intercept is 4, 0. And the y-intercept is 0, 3. You see I'm abbreviating a little bit, INT. You can do the same thing. But you want to be able to say which is which. You can't just leave it, and it's, I know what it is, but I need to know you know which one is which. You need to label them, and you need to use ordered pairs. Okay, so let's do a problem. You guys have down there example number 1. We're only going to do 2 examples of this because this is pretty simple once you get the hang of it. So I need everybody to write x minus 3y equals 3. And I'm going to make a t-table. You guys are already have one on your paper. X-intercept, y-intercept. And what do we know about the x-intercept? Let's add that to the side. We know that y equals 0 at the x-intercept, and on the y-intercept, x equals 0. Okay? Then you'll notice I have my handy-dandy finger up here. Well, I want you guys to use your finger as well. This is going to help us to find the x-intercept and the y-intercept. So let's first concentrate on the x-intercept. It says y equals 0. If y equals 0, here's y, negative 3y. If negative 3 times 0 is 0 and it goes away, we can just cover it up. We don't need it. Okay, let's cover it up. Use your finger, your hand, whatever. We're going to cover it up. We don't need it. Okay, so if we don't need it, all we have to do is write down what we see. What's left is x equals 3. And we found the x-intercept right there. So we're going to write it as a point, remember? We found out what the x value is. The y is 0. So we know that the x-intercept is 3, 0. So let's put that on our graph, 3, 0. Okay. Now let's do the same thing for the y-intercept. So let's take our finger, and since x equals 0, let's cover up the x and then write down what we see. Negative 3y equals 3. And we're just going to solve what we have here. So we're going to divide both sides by -3. Y equals 3 divided by -3 is -1. So now our point is going to be 0 and -1 because we're looking for the y-intercept. So we're going to put a point there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to draw our line through these points. Now, I'm sure you guys think, wow, this is a lot faster, isn't it, than the other way of doing a t-table. There are even more faster ways, and we'll get to those as we go through the chapter. But as you can see, your finger becomes your friend. It'll help you cover it up because when things go to 0, they just go away. So you might as well cover it up and just see what's left in the equation and solve that. Once you solve it, put it as an ordered pair. Remember, if you leave it y equals -1 or x equals 3, we talked about this in our chapter 1 notes. Our chapter 5, section 1 notes. These are lines, aren't they? X equals 3, y equals -1. These are lines, and lines are not intercepts. Okay, so we got to make sure that we're using ordered pairs so that we know what's going on, and use your finger to help you out. That will be good. So let's flip our paper over, and we're going to do it one more time. Okay, so let's write down 5x plus 2y equals 10. And again, you already have x-intercept and y-intercept written down. And again, I'm just going to add that where y equals 0 and x equals 0, just so you guys can stay with me where these numbers are coming from. Okay? So I'm going to do the x-intercept first, and since y equals 0, I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to cover that up. And I'm going to write down the resulting equation. So I have 5x equals 10. Now when I'm looking for the x-intercept, obviously the x is what I'm trying to find. Finish solving it. I'm going to divide both sides by 5. I can find out x equals 2. So my ordered pair is 2, 0. And we're going to put that on our x-axis here, 2, 0. We're going to do the same thing over here for the y-intercept. Now x equals 0. So I'm going to move my finger over, and you're going to do the same thing. Move your finger over, and you write down what you see. 2y equals 10. Then you divide both sides by 2. And simplify, you get y equals 5, and you're going to, again, write your ordered pair, 0, 5, and we're going to put that on our coordinate plane, 0, 5, the y-axis, the y-intercept. And then we're going to draw ourselves a line through that. Okay, and remember we talked about lines. Make sure that you're extending your line through the points, not just on the points. Just to the points and a little bit extra. Extend through them so they go past the points on both sides, and really past, not just a little bit past, but really past those points. Okay?